Here's what it's like to dive the greatest shoal on Earth, part 2. So to get to South Africa, I took a flight from New York to London Heathrow to Johannesburg to Umtata. Once I got to Umtata, I actually had to take a 2-hour car ride over to Port St. John's, which is where we would be staying for the week. Every morning we would wake up at 5 a.m. to have a quick breakfast and coffee, and then we would get suited up for the day. The water is cold, so you do need a wetsuit, and I can tell you it is not the most fun to put on a damp 5mm wetsuit every morning at 6 a.m. We depart on the boat at 6:30, and we'd be on our way to find bait balls for the day. One of the craziest things about the Sardine run is that it's completely unpredictable. Our group was honestly very lucky. We were on the water for 5 days, and we had a lot of action for 4 out of those 5 days. For some reason this year, all of the fish that we saw in these bait balls were actually mackerel, which are significantly larger than sardines. We don't really know why this was the case, but considering it's very rare, we were not complaining. For that reason though, we mostly saw sharks and dolphins in the water. I was really excited to see the diving Cape gannet birds, but because the mackerel are larger and harder for the Cape gannets to eat, we didn't see as many of them. In terms of what I packed, what didn't I pack, honestly? I did have to get myself a new wetsuit for this trip so that I'd be warm enough, and I brought a few different underwater cameras with me to make sure I didn't miss anything. I had my large camera rig with my Sony camera inside, as well as my Insta360 that I attached to the housing for BTS video, and then I brought a few different topside cameras to make sure that I could shoot on land as well as underwater. I brought mostly all of my own dive gear, including my mask, my snorkel, my fins. I actually forgot my weight belt, which I definitely needed, and then my wetsuit, like I mentioned. So that is a little bit more about my experience and what I packed. I hope you found this video helpful or interesting, and I will see you next time.